Hey everybody, how's it going? Josh here, and welcome to the hopefully one of many more to come on-camera installments of the HNEpod here on HN Entertainment. So today we're talking about a few things that have been happening. I saw a few comments and tweets. People were messaging, asking us to talk about the Morbius trailer, the Black Widow special look, and then also the news about the director of Doctor Strange 2 leaving the project, which is obviously something that I don't think anyone saw coming whatsoever. Now, besides that, also I want to talk about a MonsterVerse theory today regarding Kong and his size. So if you're listening to this on Spotify, SoundCloud, any of those audio-only versions, or not versions, but platforms, sorry, the whole thing is up on there, whole audio track, not split up, anything like that. However, if you're watching this on YouTube, which in that case you must be if you're seeing me on cam, you're going to be checking this podcast out in segments. This is something I want to try out going forward, and hopefully you guys like it. I know the background, all that stuff, lighting isn't perfect at the moment. All this is very much a work in progress, and as time goes on, I get more comfortable on camera. The whole process hopefully gets more fluid. Likely all this stuff will improve as well. That's the goal, at least. Who knows? Maybe my cats will make a cameo as well. I have two beautiful kittens who are just they're chilling right now in the background. You can't see them here, but they're laughing it up. They're kind of annoying me right now too. They just got spayed. But getting back on track here for the podcast episode. Yes, so those are our four topics today. Morbius trailer, Black Widow special look, also talking about the Doctor Strange 2 news, and MonsterVerse. So it's a pretty Marvel heavy episode. Hopefully DC or, I guess Lucasfilm does something sometime soon. We could talk about something else besides just primarily MCU. So the next topic today, we're going to talk about something I was added on Twitter about, like a theory thread about Kong and his size. I thought it made a lot of sense. I thought it was really interesting. So I figured, why not share it with everybody else? But basically what it's all about is why Kong is how big he is in Godzilla vs. Kong, because in the little bits and pieces we've seen so far, Kong, unlike a lot of people predicted, is almost on par with Godzilla size-wise. I mean, a lot of people thought he would be between half of Godzilla's size and 3/4 of Godzilla's size, but instead it's looking like he's beyond that in almost height to height, looking right at Godzilla's face, eyeball to eyeball, which is pretty impressive, obviously, but that begs the question, how in hell is Godzilla that small relative to Kong? Or I guess really, how is Kong that big? Because obviously in Kong Skull Island, he was nowhere close Godzilla's height. And we even saw ancestor bones of Kong's species, like his parents, ancestors, in the comic version of kind of like the prequel / pseudo sequel to Kong Skull Island. And even those showing Kong's ancestors before they were dead, they looked big, but they didn't look Godzilla big, especially Godzilla's growth spurt he received in Godzilla King of the Monsters. So a theory that's been going around, and I'm going to read it, but basically it's saying that besides being one of the oldest living members ever of his own species, Kong, just like Godzilla, benefits from a lack of real competitors, because what's been established after Kong Skull Island is that Kong basically killed off the remaining skull crawlers that were on Skull Island, which means he's not competing with any other animals, one, to be alive, but also regarding the other Titans, he's not competing with certain things like feeding off radiation, which the Titans seemingly live off of primarily outside of normal food. And also because there's with the Hollow Earth theory, there's a pocket to the subterranean society of Titans, there's an entryway in Skull Island, and according to this theory, what makes it really interesting is that might be emitting extra radiation, extra geothermal energy that other areas of the world don't have, which is further kind of boosting Kong, if you will. Kind of think of it like everywhere else has normal XP, but Skull Island has double XP. So kind of something like that, if that analogy makes any sense. Sometimes they don't make sense, but I thought it made sense. But yeah, so supposedly that might be why Kong is so big, because he's one of the oldest living members of his species, not having to compete with the skull crawlers, but also at the same time, Kong is able to absorb much more energy in general on a daily basis, on a total sum basis, than any of his predecessors were able to, which all that time, I think he will be in his 50s chronologically, by the events of Godzilla versus Kong. And I say 50s very tentatively. I mean 50s as in probably he'll be between 50 and 60, going on more so 60, but it'll be 50 years, I think, since we had last seen Kong. So it'll be really cool to see what's going on there. But that might be a part of it. Also, it seems like Kong may be a different kind of Titan species. So just like how Godzilla seems to be an alpha Titan species, it also appears that Kong is an alpha Titan species. And they tease that a little bit in the Godzilla King of the Monsters novelization, where Ghidorah does his little screech, or its little screech, to call all the different Titans, and Kong hears it on Skull Island, but instead of being almost forced to follow it, he very clearly just, blows it off and doesn't even want to follow it, just ignores it. So I think that would be a really interesting thing to explore here, if maybe certain Titans are able to evolve to have that alpha predator kind of gene, not alpha predator, but alpha Titan type of gene within their species to really be independent. And maybe a part of that is also growing larger than the other Titans, which of course, I mean, that's just kind of BS they would be making up to explain Kong being somewhat on the same par of, Godzilla. But of course, I thought it was interesting. In another aspect, based off the toy leak that we saw, how can Kong maybe defeat Godzilla after all in a one-on-one fight? Now, what it appears like Kong will be doing in this film, which was teased by the director quite a few times, is using weapons. And one of the weapons it looks like Godzilla is going to be getting hit with by Kong is a pseudo mace of some sort, which I think is kind of cool, like a mallet / mace weapon that Kong's using. All things considered, I hope that they get a little bit more creative. I saw theories online, I don't think they're true though, that Monarch might give Kong a weapon to actually use against Godzilla, like a melee-like weapon, hoping that Kong will be able to kill Godzilla. And then of course Monarch probably thinks Godzilla being a primate, or I guess an ape type of Titan, he's probably easier to defeat than Godzilla, who's out here shooting atomic breath and stuff like that. But leave your comments down below. What do you guys think? And we'll see you guys later. But yeah, that's it. So I think I went through all the topics. If you're listening to this on YouTube or watching it on YouTube, you're going to check this out in segments. So if it seems kind of choppy, I apologize. My kittens a few times while I was recording decided to jump in. So I had to stop, focus on them, relocate them, make sure they're all right, then jump back on the recording. But yeah, I hope you guys liked the episode. Please give me feedback. I know the lighting and all that stuff will need improvement as time goes on, so I'm pretty aware of that. And give me any ideas what you think for the background. I was thinking about maybe doing movie posters, having all this be movie posters. I thought that'd be kind of cool. But just give me your comments down below, your thoughts. What do you guys think would be a great idea? And yeah, also, which topic did you guys like the most? Please leave viewer questions down below so I can do viewer questions in future episodes with hashtag HNEpod. Follow us on Twitter, Instagram, etc., etc. But yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed the video segment, I guess, and or podcast if you're listening to it entirely on SoundCloud or Spotify. And I'll see you guys later.